it was raining, no?
Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
Core TV News, expanding your view.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DG360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to Core Digest. Welcome to the program. It's a wet Wednesday, 7th of May, 2014. Very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning. And I have Brownson in the studio. Good morning, Brownson.
Very good morning. Good to see you again.
Looking good as usual.
I'm just trying my best. It's a really wet Wednesday morning. At a point, I thought I was going to get here late, but then...
Yeah, because usually when it rains, we have traffic. But how was the road like? Because I left earlier.
Yeah, a little better today. I was surprised, though. I think because the rain started a little late, so most people would have left their homes. But good to be here. But as much as we are celebrating the Wednesday morning being wet, but I don't think people in Abuja are really celebrating because
they're on holidays.
Yeah, they're on holidays. But
so
also look at...
You should just say happy holidays to the people in Abuja.
Happy holidays. they have 3 days to themselves.
Yes, and on the dailies this morning, on Core Digest and the dailies this morning, we have 4 papers we're going to be looking at. We have Vanguard, The Punch, and what do you have there?
The Nations as well as the Guardian newspaper.
All right, let's start with Vanguard newspaper this morning, and very screaming as Boko Haram abducts 11 more girls in Borno. 11 more girls. That's after the over 200
over
girls.
200, even though the figure is has not really been defined. But 11 more girls is really appalling, and it really shows that our security level is very, very poor. And also don't forget that somewhere in Abuja yesterday, a school bus was hijacked by 3 gunmen who pretend to be camera guys in front of the school gates. And it's very scary. And funny enough, I think government should pay more attention on what is happening in Nyanya, because that Nyanya region is where the whole incident took place. But
what is it about Nyanya, really?
I think it's the outskirts of Abuja. Okay. Now, those guys, the Boko Haram or the sect, whatever they call themselves, can't really get into the city. But so they're trying to cause problems.
They cannot get into Abuja, as it were. I mean, if they go about abducting girls every now and then, can't they just dare and get into Abuja?
I think the security in the city, it's a little stiff, so it may be a little more difficult for them to break into the city. So they're trying to create all attentions. And now, just when all attention was being centered on Abuja, in Borno State, over 300 people were killed. So it's very sad. Abduct 11 more girls. It's really saddening. I really don't know where we are going.
Well, you can find details of this on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. And Confab, page 53, says President may lose power to appoint IGP. Any idea what that is talking about?
Yeah, the Confab, a lot of, even though as it stands now, they'll be extending it by 6 weeks. And sometime last week, they talked about resource control, how some of these things would be shared, and it's still not settled. But now, I think the security level now, the national conference are taking it more serious. Now, some quarters even say that the president does not have the will to stop it. And the truth is, I think this whole thing is really beyond the president, though people want to say the buck ends at his doorstep. Table, so it's really a big one. I think it's a collective thing. Nigerians should come together and fight this insurgency.
It's not funny anymore. I mean, if we keep saying it's all about the president. He's not really doing enough. I think we're not doing ourselves good and not doing these young girls good, because I mean, school girls, innocent girls in school, teenagers. And let's move forward. We have a picture here. It says protesters outside the Nigerian embassy in Washington, D.C., United States, demanding robust action to rescue more than 200 schoolgirls kidnapped by Boko Haram militant. And I guess this came, this was before the 11 more girls abducted. I actually like this. This is outside Nigeria now. I think I actually like the way this thing is going.
I think Nigerians around the world are really showing interest, because what's happening in this country is really, it's really appalling.
But do you think this can really go far with the various protests? Can it do a thing?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I saw a story this morning where even the United Kingdom, some people protested, and of course we've got some foreign aides that have already indicated interest in coming to the country. I think protesting around the world.
CNN, I guess CNN, and Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the finance minister, was, she was really crying out and saying, we need help, come help us, especially with our girls, come, we are helpless at this point.
Absolutely.
It's a good one. I mean, if we are all owning up that, look, we cannot do much.
At this point, I think Nigeria needs help, and that's what we are crying out for.
Okay, let's see what we have on The Nation.
All right, on The Nation newspaper, the big story here says Jonathan accepts U.S. offer to join girls' rescue battle.
Yeah, that's what we're just talking about, and it's a good one. It's a good one. I mean, there's no feeling like the Superman here when you're really not.
Absolutely. Who's the Superman? All right, still on The Nation's newspaper, focus on jobs as World Economic Forum opens today. World leaders in Abuja. It's expected that we'll have about 100 leaders around the world to attend this forum. It's going to be a very big one.
Yeah, that's what we're really going to be discussing today with some of our guests that will be in the studio. The World Economic Forum at this point in Nigeria.
All right.
Are we really ripe to? Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
We are the largest economy in Africa, so I think we are big enough
to host this.
To host this, yes. It has to do with Africa. Don't forget, one of the theme, a part of the theme of this program I like is creating jobs. We have a lot of graduates coming out of schools.
Creating jobs.
No jobs. So I think, like the president said in the presidential media
But should we
chat,
wait for the World Economic Forum before we create jobs?
Yeah, according to what some president said in the media chat, that what government does is not really to create jobs, but to create an enabling environment for private investors to come in. It's the private investors that create the jobs when the environment is right.
Yeah, I'm talking about the environment. That's why we really have to sit up on this Boko Haram thing. Let's look at the Punch. Okay, I think we still have more.
Yeah, of course. Still on The Nation newspaper, reps probe 10 billion naira jet expenses. And in sports, this should be a very good one for all the sports fan. Osaze Yobo Ameobi make Keshi 30-man list, even though they'll be trimmed down to 23. But I think the inclusion of Osaze is a very, very good one. And of course, Yobo has not represented Nigeria after the Nations Cup last year. And a lot of people have criticized the fact that it should be called, Keshi kept saying he's the captain of the side, but he has not always been invited. But
you're so passionate about this sport thing. You just go, I like that.
That's cool. That's good to see that these guys are back. And Ekiti 2014, fire me to vote. Beware of evil alliance. Ekiti elections have been very controversial. Don't forget, it's still the state in Nigeria that has not produced any governor for two terms, back to back. So this year's election, June 21, will be a very big decisive moment as far as Ekiti election is concerned.
It's concerned. And Fayose is, and the other is a very, they are good contenders as well.
Absolutely. And don't forget, Labour Party as well as Accord, they're also bracing up for this. So we look forward to what will be coming up as far as the election is concerned.
Yes, and the violence, as it has to do with the elections in Ekiti, I really do not know how far is it going now.
According to the Accord guy we had, Kole Ajayi, that was 2 weeks ago, he said some of this violence are stage managed. Okay. Like, for instance, a particular party will bring thugs and then they shoot their vehicle and then call press guys to cover it, just to get pity from their voters. Politicians sometimes, you wonder some things they do to get votes.
But Is that really true? I'm finding it hard to believe.
Your guess is as good as mine.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to the Punch newspaper. Boko Haram kills 300, abduct 11 more girls. We saw that earlier in the Vanguard. Jonathan accepts U.S. offer to send security experts. UN warns sect against selling abducted schoolgirls. Yes, the leader of Boko Haram had released a video saying that he's likely to sell the girls. I mean, what's all that?
I read the
Sell
story.
the girls. Where do they sell human beings?
At this point, I don't think they're slave trade, but sometimes these guys, they've made statements that shouldn't be taken for granted. And even though I think somehow the statement is a kind of, it needs an attention from the Nigerian government, which he has gotten. But I think Nigerian government...
it's not just an empty threat?
I don't think it's an empty threat. I don't think we should take it for granted. Now, we don't know where they want to sell it to, or these girls could be killed. And I remember sometimes we had Sophie last week. She came in and said, if these guys are asking for ransom, Nigerian government should pay because the lives of these citizens is far more...
but don't you think that would be, how do I put it now? That would be like we're not, capable enough of rescuing them unconditionally. Should we pay for them?
As a matter of fact, how much is enough for one's life? That's a very big question we should look at. If these guys want money, whatever they want. And of course, don't forget that in the presidential media chat, President Goodluck Jonathan denied the fact that the Nigerian government is negotiating with these terrorists. So as it stands, we are just going back and forth, back and forth.
He has said he's not going to negotiate with terrorists.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's no place in the world where they negotiate with terrorists. Don't forget, after the September 11 bombing in the United States of America, they went on their own mission. Until they got it, there was no point we had America negotiated. So it is not done in the world. Terrorists are terrorists. You go after them. But I think some of the things we do is just because at some point I just feel a lot of people have criticized our Nigerian army, and I think sometimes we should look into our security forces, how much is being sent to that sector, how much is being used to do the exact thing the budget has allocated for. Some of these things should be investigated, and then maybe we may just have a way forward. But I think, for instance, last night, over 300 people killed. At night where people were sleeping.
It's getting worse. But again, the foreign aid that we're expecting, yes, if the U.S. says they want to come help us out as it concerns Boko Haram, I would have expected that we do not get to hear until we see the results. Because, yes, we're hearing they are coming and they want to help Nigeria fight and rescue these girls. And do not forget that the Boko Haram, they're equally getting prepared. Okay, you want to come help Nigeria, we're here waiting for you. So I really think that for issues like that, it should be behind closed doors.
Absolutely. Security issues sometimes shouldn't be made public. Sometimes it could be pressure from Nigerians because people feel Nigerian government is not working.
Because for the Nyanya bomb attack that came a second time, I was just thinking to myself that, look, it happened the first time and the government came and they said, well, we are installing CCTV cameras all over the place. And this guy still went back the second time.
The question is, did they actually activate the CCTV cameras? Installing is another thing. Activating it, it's something else. If you want to go into this matter, I think we should start calling names. If they've awarded the contract, who was it awarded to? Who's the company in charge? Was it activated? Was it actually installed?
Now, should we have even known that, we're going to be installing CCTV cameras there?
That's the big question.
We have our plans and we take it to the market and let everyone begin to buy and sell.
I think security issues, we need to train our personnel. Some of the security things should be kept secret.
Yes, really. And we still have on sport here, Yobo Osaze in, Uche out.
Yes, Ikechukwu Uche, as a matter of fact, he's been doing very well in Spain. A lot of people expect him to be part of World Cup list, but Keshi feels the guy is not disciplined enough. He doesn't listen to coach's instruction, but he's been left out of the World Cup. Let's see what's left of him.
Ooh. Panic in Abuja as gunmen invade school. Is this the school bus issue?
Yes, yeah, this is the school bus issue. As a matter of fact, it's very sad.
Was it in the school compound, as it were?
According to the report, the driver was about driving to the premises where the gunman, attacked him and asked him to, step down of the bus, and then they entered and drove off.
There were no kids in there.
There were kids in the bus, both male, female. It's different from the female abduction we were talking about.
Okay.
Some kids coming to school in the morning, I think about 8 o'clock thereabout. The driver was about entering into the premises where the gunmen, 3 guys surrounded him, and then they asked him to calm down. They drove the bus, and as it stands, no information. So
but they didn't go with the girls. They didn't go with the students.
They went with all the students.
No, they did not, because I watched the news at 10 yesterday, and I think the principal or a director in the school said all the students are safe. That I think the gunmen just hijacked the school bus.
Okay.
Hopefully that is true.
All right. We hope that's the story anyway.
And not a cover-up. Jonathan allowed insurgency to fester. Soyinka saying that. All
right. Yeah, that was I think interview from I've forgotten this foreign media. I was opportunity to see the interview. Soyinka feels Jonathan didn't do enough when the whole insurgency started. We looked at it.
Him?
Yeah, no, it didn't. But when it started in Jonathan's regime, people thought it was a tribal war. It was a religious war between the Christians and the Muslims. That was where we got it wrong, until they started bombing mosques, killing Muslims as well. That was when we knew that this is, as a matter of fact, even sometime last year, we're still looking at it like for them to bomb mosques was a cover-up for the activity. But now we are seeing this thing that is a clear terrorism. It's not a religious war anymore.
Obviously. But again, saying Jonathan allowed it to fester, if it did not start with him, how did it,
He's the commander-in-chief of Armed Force. He has everything to his disposal, the Air Force, the Navy, the Nigerian Customs, everything. So I think it's just like circle. We've talked about this over and over, how he has not well managed resources at his disposal. But like I said, at this point,
should he have rather been more forceful?
Just maybe.
Sometimes force, does it really help out?
Like I said, terrorists, you don't negotiate with them. You have to, not really force, but maybe intelligence. Yes, maybe intelligence would have really helped. For instance, there was a news sometimes last week that American citizens shouldn't visit a particular hotel in Lagos and Abuja, that there's going to be an attack. Yeah. Now, it's a result of intelligence from America. Do we have that in Nigeria? Again, that's a big fear.
Wasn't that just a panic? Raising panic, and anyway, we shouldn't take such things for granted, like you did say earlier. Abducted girls' parents on hunger strike. How is that going to help?
I think it's just a way of showing commitment because government at this point need to be put on their toes. Protests everywhere in the world. The women are on hunger strike. It will just put government generally on their toes that, look, we are not going to rest until these girls are being discovered. And I have to give kudos to all Nigerians that have showed interest in all of this, because
it's on Twitter,
it's Facebook,
it's
everywhere.
It's everywhere. People are using it as their DP, and it's a good one. It's a really good one. But now, the US is coming to help us. Well, I did say that they shouldn't have made it public in the first place. They should just let us see the result at the end of the day. But what do you expect, really? Do you think with the US coming on board, we can really salvage the situation, especially as it has to do with the missing girls?
Absolutely. Look at US pedigree, their soldiers and their intelligence. I think for me, when it comes to soldier manpower, we don't have problem. But one of the areas we are lacking in this country is our intelligence. We need them to come in, put some things in place. I think if you look at how they fought terrorism in the past years, you want to agree with me that how they captured Saddam Hussein, and of course taking down the almighty Osama. So I think the inclusion in this whole search would help. And I think to be a source of relief for the parents with the inclusion of the United States of America.
Okay, let's see what we have on The Guardian.
All right, on The Guardian newspaper, despite terror attack, World Economic Forum begins in Abuja. It's a big one. We've been looking forward to.
And the way the newspapers will color the headlines, sometimes they just go, ooh, it's that bad.
Yes.
Let's fight terror attack. World Economic Forum begins in Abuja. Okay.
And of course, some of the story is UN warns Boko Haram against selling abducted pupils. Of course, we've looked at that. Yes. And still on the Guardian newspaper, gunmen kidnapped 11 girls in Borno, UK, to help federal government. And good to know that, like I said, United Nations as well, United Kingdom have indicated interest in helping federal government.
They should all come. They should all come. We really do need this help. Well, with that, we just go for this break. And at 9, don't forget that we will bring you the news called TV News on the hour. And after that, we'll continue with the program. Stay with us.
Core TV News, expanding your views.